So we're here in the WiT Studio with Stephan Ekbergh, CEO of Travelstart. Very excited to talk with you. You've been coming to WiT, you've been part of WiT's DNA for a long time. First things first, since we are talking about the human revolution and artificial intelligence, right? Is Travelstart playing around with exciting AI? Anything in the pipeline?
Yeah, so we started with that sort of, as soon as, actually we've been playing around with some type of AI, more machine learning, since 99, no, sorry, 2019, on dynamic pricing. So we've been doing that really, really successfully and really, really well. And I think probably a lot of people do in our industry. So we've gotten decent understanding of that. Obviously, large language modeling is something completely different, which means that we took a decision at the beginning of the year that we're going to take this seriously, and the only way we thought we'll take it seriously is that every department has to play around with it and actually report back on what they do. And so obviously content creation is now largely done with AI. We also have customer service bots that largely run on AI, and we try to improve the results that we're doing there all the time. We launched a package, module for vacations that largely is built on AI. We just feed in sort of pricing and stuff like that, and then content and trip building, etc., is done with AI. Then we have a bot that actually helps people, to buy their trips. And I haven't checked the stats for this week, but last week we sold the first, booking end to end via one of these bots, and
Right.
I read the transcript. It was incredible. The bot was so courteous, and so loving. I don't think that any of our support staff would ever be able to do such an incredible job, and the customer was so happy.
So this goes to your speech that you gave at WiT Singapore on stage, right? You said that limitation is the mother of creativity and innovation.
Yeah.
Is it wrong for me to say that the problem with AI, or the problem that we have with AI, is not that it's limited, but it's unlimited? Like
Yeah.
it's growing and evolving in a way that we just cannot comprehend, or it's too fast
Yeah.
for the mass population.
Well, I think that I maybe like to look at it in a different way. So, when I say limitation is the mother of creativity, or is the source of creativity, it's more that sort of anybody who's a little bit switched on, who's got time on their hand, and who's creative and smart, and can see opportunities and has no funds, no means, they will use AI and build something incredible. So that's for sure. That's going to happen. And if you look around, a lot of great companies was created by people who actually come from very simple upbringing, who feels that they want to prove to their parents and the world and the teachers and their bullying friends that they can that they can
That they can do it.
that they can do it. And that's always going to be the story.
Right.
So there are going to be some renegade kids, that's going to do something incredible, good or bad, out of this.
Right, right. What is better in Travelstart today than it was 4 years ago?
I think I would say number one is that the team is super aligned on objectives and priorities, and I made sure that they are. It's not sprawling as much as it did before. We work on very short sprints, quarterly sprints. Our customer service is world class again. It was terrible for the last, several years, and of course it completely melted down during COVID. So we've really done that better. I think the processes are better, the governance are better, the profits are better, and the outlook in general is better. Even though if if you look at it from a South African perspective, the economy is really bad, and it doesn't look like it's going to change in a long while. But I think the business is in good shape. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
so I'm pleased with that.
Right, right. Let's stick with that. You mentioned the economy, right? So, do you think sometimes glamour and hype sort of blinds founders towards certain marketplaces? And what I mean by that is not everything is the US, and not everything is China, not
Yeah, yeah,
everything is
yeah,
Japan, or to a certain extent Singapore, right?
yeah, yeah,
But they are gold mines, and they
yeah.
are rich gold mines. But because they don't come with that branding,
Mm.
a lot of people are not attracted to those markets. Do you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's an issue?
Yeah, of course it's an issue, but it's an opportunity for us who don't
Right,
who don't care about that. But I mean, I love frontier markets.
right.
So
Yeah, exactly. That's why I asked.
somebody needs to serve those markets. But I understand. If it's like I was years ago. I was talking to an Indian competitor, doing really, really well in India. And their owners, their backers were South Africans, Naspers, and they wanted them to launch in South Africa. So I had tea with the guy running the company, and so I said, "Are you really serious about doing South Africa?" I said, "You change a couple of levers in your business, and then you have, your growth, will be just, you just have to change some things, and then you have all of South Africa's bookings, in one day in India."
Right.
And he laughed and he said, "Yeah, it's the owners." But so they never launched there, and so my thought was always that we wanted to be the best we could be in Africa, and we wanted to be the only show in town,
Mm-hmm.
and we are,
Right.
and so which doesn't mean that we can't improve, tons of stuff, which we're trying to do, but yes, I mean it can be a challenge that the market is small. So what we decided to do years ago was to venture out into other verticals in the travel tech ecosystem. So the vision is that irrespectively of what people buy in travel, we should have a sliver of that transaction, and
Right.
that can be the payment. We do the payment, or we sell the insurance, or we feed. The hotel is using our PMS
Mm-hmm.
or stuff like that. So
Right. Right.
yeah,
Multiple channels
yeah,
for different demographics.
yeah,
Right. Right. Right.
yeah,
You spoke about launching a sort of think tank and like an innovation hub during the
yeah,
pandemic, right?
yeah.
Are there any ideas that came out during that phase that you would love to work on, but you can't because of maybe the tech isn't there, or resources, or just the timing isn't right, maybe?
I think that, well, it's actually it's quite a big question. So I tell you, so the whole idea behind Innovation City was that I figured, okay, what if travel never comes back? Okay, of course it was going to come back. What am I going to do?
Mm.
And I need like a 20-year, because I figure I'm going to be working for at least another 20 years. So I figured, what's worth, putting your teeth into. So I thought, okay, South Africa has been very good to me. So I thought, one way for me to be engaged, have a bit of fun, and to continue to learn and continue to be relevant, and where I can add value is to is in the business world. I don't want to be consultant. I don't want to sit on boards, but I can, and I love young people,
Right.
and so I thought, an innovation hub where we give an unfair advantage to anybody that is part of our network. So that's what we started, and you know, I haven't really seen anything that I thought was sort of worth investing in yet. But the thing is also, you have to give this a little bit of time. Obviously, I've got a 20-year plan with this, and I think that over time, what we'll see is that we will be instrumental in being sort of igniting a hope and a quest to build something better. Also, we have another problem is that, so if we look in Sweden, for instance, traditionally they're entrepreneurs that does really well and do a decent exit. They will reinvest back into the ecosystem. That's not the case in South Africa yet. So
Right.
they take their money and run abroad, because they don't trust the government, et cetera, et cetera.
So you have
And
brain drain.
yeah, so we have brain drain, but and when we have a capital drain as well.
Right.
So and that's not great. What's positive is that we see a lot of sort of mid-level people from successful tech startups in Europe and the States moving to South Africa with their $5 or $10 or $20 million or more that they've made, and actually invest and start businesses there. So that's very positive. So I think over time, yes, some people are moving away, but some people are moving into the country. Expats are moving into the country, and so over time, I think this brain drain will stop. As there is more interesting company to work for.
Right.
I mean, when we started our businesses 16, 17 years ago, there was no tech companies really to talk about. Infrastructure providers, yes, some ISPs and stuff like that. Microsoft was there and stuff like that, but there was sort of nothing really, and it was super hard to find developers. You couldn't even almost get internet. We were the first company that had a payment connector where you could actually pay online.
Right.
And so things have changed over the years. A lot more talented, smart, beautiful people now than 16 years ago. And of course, Cape Town is a magnet in itself because it's one of the most pleasant cities to live in the world. So I think all those things together, I think we need more capital and we need more smart people. We need people who sort of reinvest there and people who believes in the country. And honestly, sometimes you just have to say some positive things about the place, and other people will start to agree. So
Right.
yeah,
Spread the word.
spread the word.
Spread the word. I want to close by asking you about trends that you are looking forward to in travel in 2024.
Trends. So that I personally would like to see.
Yeah,
If I
yeah.
look at it from macro level, I would love to see that they start to impose some sort of, cap on visitors in big tourist destinations. I think we've talked about it here as well. I think it just had to happen. I thought it would happen after COVID, but it's sort of, gotten worse than it was before.
Right.
So I would love for us to see that happen. And that is not hard to do. You don't need AI or anything for that. But you have to start to become less greedy, I suppose. I tell you, I would love to see AI breaking the power of Google. Because we need we have a couple of gateways how people in our industry get with their merchandise to the customers.
Right.
And you go through a couple of we're all dependent on sort of AWS now. We're all dependent on Google. We're all dependent on Apple. We're all dependent on Meta to some degree. And I would love to see a few alternatives.
Knock down a couple of the kings.
Yes.
Right.
So and that's for sure going to happen.
Right.
But I'm not sure what it's going to look like. But it's something that I look forward to.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, that would change everything. It would change the landscape of everything once that happens.
Yes, exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
I mean, look, it especially for micro entrepreneurs, it's easier for them to get to customers than before. They can use the Airbnb platform and put their content on there, etc. But we need more, relevant ways to get to customers. I think it's become, you either play with the big tech platforms or you don't exist at all, and I don't think that that's good for business.
Right.
It's not good for the consumers. It's not good for anyone.
Right. Stefan, thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you.